Hey everyone, it's Jason. We have another Marvel vs. System unboxing. This is for Webheads. This is part of the the Verse arc, which is Volume 3, Issue number 3. The previous issue was Spider Foes. We got more Sinister Syndicate villains to play around with. This is got a lot more Spidey Friend characters. And then the first one in the set was actually the photogenic Marvel Cinematic Universe set. Based on Far From Home. So it doesn't really tie in. It's an interesting way they did that. But, hey, more Spidey characters is always better. Does whatever a Spider can. This issue has Spiders well known to the obscure. Superior Spider-Man, Spider, UK, and a Spider-powered Gwen Stacy, and more. The web-slinging heroes come from across the Spider-Verse where they're gathered a Spider army fully loaded with amazing clips and thwips. So the previous set, the Spider Foe set, required you to basically have the original Sinister Syndicate deck, because it needed enough main characters to play it, and it has a lot of synergy with that, so it wasn't really its own standalone. This is going to be a lot of the same thing as well. You can play this by itself, but you're going to gain a lot more bonus from it if you have the first Spider Friend set, because there's going to be a lot more crossover to it. So it works well by itself, but it's going to be better if you have the previous expansion and just use this as an add-on. So our first up we're going to start with is a brand new thing. We have a double mantle. So the little stars mean mantle. So it means it's a different Spider-Man character that is not the original one. So we have the original Spider-Man with no stars. That's Peter Parker. We have the second Spider-Man that has 2 stars. That's Miles Morales. So that's the one that has double ones. So you could have 3 different Spider-Mans out. This is the Ultimate Spider-Man. So it's technically also Peter Parker, but it's the one from the Ultimate Universe that Miles Morales is originally from. So you could have regular Spider-Man, 1-star Spider-Man, and double-star Spider-Man, all at the same time. Just kind of a unique thing. I don't recall them doing any other double mantles so far, because realistically, Marvel doesn't do a lot of legacy. They've got like one other character, but they don't have, unlike DC where there's like a bunch of Flashes, a bunch of Green Lanterns and stuff like that. They don't have, or a bunch of different people that have been Robin or Batman. They don't have a lot of characters that have done this, so it's not a huge thing. But he has healing factor. This is really based off later in the Ultimate storyline, when the original Spider-Man died, that eventually Miles Morales took over, and then he eventually did come back, using some of the Goblin's odds formula, and that's what this all has to relate to. It's just like later in his career, rather than like the early Spider-Man. So there's a healing factor. He can heal a wound in Ultimate Experience. After you heal a wound from Spider-Man, he gains XP equal to the number of wounds he has left. Or wounds he has left. Okay. Then we have level 2. He gets Climb. Start your main phase, you may exhaust the location on your side. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on Spider-Man. The Oz formula. When Spider-Man gets KO'd, you won't lose the game until the end of your next turn. When a Friends and Family character appears on your side, put a Spider-Man onto your side with 1 remaining health. So, Friends and Family are going to be special support characters, are one of a kind that have Friends and Family. So there are a few in this deck, but again, it's why it says works really well as an add-on to the original one, because the original one has a bunch more. So if you have a lot, because you only have 1 per deck, so I think this has like 3, which is what I counted. 3 different ones. So the other one I think has 5. So I give you 8 different times to keep bringing Spider-Man back if you play 1 at a time. Versus this deck, if you just played this deck, you'd only be able to do it 3 times. So it's kind of a fun thing. Then we have Ghost Spider, aka Spider-Gwen. So she's going to have the same Can't play them both at the same time. You can borrow this for a while. At the start of your first turn, name a spider supporting character. Characters with that have dimensional wristwatch while in your deck this game. Multiverse expert. When a character appears on your side, other than being recruited, Spider-Gwen gains or Ghost Spider gains XP. Those grants you has dimensional wristwatch keyword. You can recruit a character with dimensional wristwatch keyword directly from your deck. Announce you're recruiting them from your deck. Search your deck for that character. Shuffle your deck, and then recruit them, paying its cost. The character with the chosen name gets put back in your deck somehow. It will regain dimensional wristwatch while it's in your deck. Yes, this is supposed to be her ability to like jump back and forth between alternate realities and timelines and stuff. And then when she does level up, she goes, sorry, I need that back. When Ghost Spider becomes level 2 for the rest of the game, characters in your deck lose and can't have dimensional wristwatch. So she hands it off to somebody else so that they can, teleport, but then she takes it back. And kick it to the multiverse. When Ghost Spider, or put Ghost Spider into another game in the room. At the start of your next turn, put her back into her owner's side. So she gets to leave and go to another game. This is one of these weird abilities that are kind of like, oh, it's neat, but it's also, in my personal opinion, I think they're just frustrating to have in these games. I like the idea. They're fun little things, but they also disrupt the entire regular game. You must have permission from all players before that game. Ghost Spider can make you jump into their game. So if no one else is playing near you or you don't have permission, then remove her from the game until the next turn. So at least you can do that. I know there's other characters like in some of the other sets like Franklin Richards who literally starts a second game. Or Wyatt Wingfoot also from the Fantastic Four set who gives you a second hand. It's just like those are kind of neat and interesting mechanics, but you really have to base your deck around them. In this one, at least, like it goes to another game, but the thing is, if it went to another game, she gains counters, gets stun tailors. You know what happens? She'll go back to the original game at the next turn. Anything she gains will be removed. If Ghost Spider enters a game that isn't two-player, it's up to the players to decide exactly how that game works. So it's kind of weird because it's like, you could have her jump into like another player's game if they're playing next to you, but if she gains any counters or anything like that, or gets tailed or whatever, she just goes back to the turn. So it's like, you're just removing her from play for a turn. Is all you're doing. It'd be different if she's like, oh, she went to another game and she got tailed there, then she's tailed from the game. You don't get her back, and you lose the game. That would be a little bit more dramatic. So you'd be, oh, I could maybe pop her over to this other person's game, gain a counter, or help them out, or do something, and then if she, loses, it's kind of weird. Anyhow, we're going to have UK Spidey, who has Spider-Verse keyword. He says, how many worlds have you been to? Spider UK can also be powered up. Character with Spider or Britain in their names. Like Captain Britain. And I see multitudes. When Spider UK is powered up by a character Spider or Britain in their name, the first time he draws a card. So Spider-Verse was a keyword that started in one of the crossover sets. And then now it adds this. So if you choose a Spider-Verse main character to be your starting main character, you can include up to 4 other Spider-Verse characters in your deck. 4 other Spider-Verse characters appeared in the crossover Volume 2 issue. So, again, this is sort of like the Sinister Syndicate set, or the Spider-Foe set that came right before this. You can't use him. You could use him by yourself, but then he's only going to be just his own main character. But if you have this other set, which works with it, you can have more options. Says during your build phase, if a character Spider-Verse is on your hand, you may put it onto your side. So basically, you do is so like the Sinister Syndicate work, by you have a set of 6 different main characters out, and then each one gets KO'd. You choose a different one. The Spider-Verse character, you can include level 1 characters in your deck, and then when you draw them, you can swap them to a different character. And then eventually have up to 4 different Spider-Men out, but you have to find them first, which is kind of neat. But yeah, like by itself, you just have him, which only has 2 health, which isn't very good. But if you buy the other set, you can gain a lot more. Alright, then we have our last main character. We have the Superior Spider-Man, aka Dr. Octopus and Spider-Man. Climb. At the start of your main phase, you may exhaust your location on your side. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on Superior Spider-Man. Who's who? Level up. When another character with AKA appears on your side, Superior Spider-Man gains an XP. So the story behind this, in case you're not familiar, I don't want to spend a ton of time on this. One point, Doc Ock was dying, so he decided to take over Spider-Man's body. Thought he got rid of Peter Parker's identity. Eventually he came back, took over. But for a while, Doc Ock actually controlled Spider-Man's body. And partly, I think Peter's being or essence was still in there. Kind of made Doc Ock realize he could do good. So he basically made Spider-Man a lot better. He more proactive. He was sometimes a little bit more violent, but he did a lot more stuff with his genius and made more technology advances, as well as the spider arms. So then now there's 2 other ways Superior Spider-Man exists. One was the multiverse during Spider-Verse. They pulled him out from a different part of the timeline, so he was also around. And then the other one was when Doc Ock resurrected. He's resurrecting a clone of Peter Parker's body, so he had Spider-Man powers. I don't know if that's still currently a thing, but that's what happened. For a while, he was still Superior Spider-Man or Superior Doc Ock, because he had Spider-Man's body. So here we have level 2. He has Superior Climb. Exhaust any number of locations on your side. Put a +1/+1 counter on Superior Spider-Man for each one exhausted. And Superior Hero. When another character on your side is attacked, you may transform Superior Spider-Man into a level 2 Spider-Man main character that is friendly neighbor. If you do, remove the defender from combat, replace it with Spider-Man, and switch their positions. So you can pull out basically get rid of this Spider-Man and have him turn into one of the other ones. But he keeps all the regular counters and all that stuff. So the Superior Spider-Man into the main set, the original base set Spider-Man. Alright, we're going to get supporting characters. We're going to start off with the friends and family, which are one of a kind, so there's 1 per deck. We have Gwen Stacy. So while they're being protected, you have Ferocious. Peter could be half the man he is and still make up 10 of you. We get Harry Osborn, who gives you Wealthy, which lets you... Ferocious means you can only attack before other characters with Ferocious. Wealthy, you start your build, you gain a recruit point. I'm not just an Osborn to Peter, I'm just Harry. And then of course we're also going to get Uncle Ben, who gives you Tough. With great power there must also come great responsibility. And Tough says if you get stunned you may recover it, still gains a wound. Alright, then we'll get to our regular supporting characters, which will gain 4 copies of each. We start with Maddie Franklin. Gathering of the 5. Choose exactly 5 characters on your side with different names, including your main character. Then randomly give each one of them a gift. Maddie can't use his power if there's already a character on her side with a gift. You keep getting all these fun different things. So there are special cards we're going to get to later in the set, which are called gifts. So they're going to be special, look like plot twists, but they're going to be called gifts. And then she can give them out. So let's just actually go over them right now, since I think she's one of the only people that can do this. So we have the 5 gifts. We have the Gift of Death. So they start in a special gift pile. So this KOs a character. The Gift of Immortality. At the start of your turn, this character is face up and doesn't have a vitality counter, it gains 1. Gift of Knowledge. At the start of your turn, if this character is face up, draw 2 cards. The Gift of Madness. At the start of your turn, this character is face up, discard 2 random cards. And finally, the Gift of Power. Character has +5/+5 range and attack. So again, how her power works, she says, she's actually 5 characters on your side and give each of them the Gift of Power. So one's gonna get KO'd and died. The other 4 all get different other abilities. So it's an interesting little mechanic to play around with. Like, who can you afford to lose versus who do you want to give a bunch of attacks, or who just to draw a card and stuff like that. We also get Dr. Kurt Connors. So 4 copies of him, aka the Lizard. Genius. At the start of your turn, draw a card, and the monster thing. When Dr. Kurt Connors gets stunned by getting struck in combat on an enemy turn, he transforms into the Lizard supporting character from Superior Spider, from the Superior team. Sinister Syndicate team. Blah. I did not want to come out. So this is from the Spider Foes set. So he becomes the Lizard. So again, this also requires you to own cards from outside. So you need to own several different stuff to play this deck. Firestar, one of Spidey's friends. I'm sad that I don't also have Iceman, though. I don't think. Nope, at least not in this set, because he's one of the 3 Spidey friends. A little help from my friends. Put a +1/+1 on Firestar for each Spider friend character on your side, and his amazing friend. When Firestar is KO'd, put a +1/+1 counter equal to the amount she had onto a Spider friend character on your side. You get Spider-Girl. Camouflage. Spider-Girl can't be attacked while she's in your back row. The supporting version of Superior Spider-Man. Genius. At the start of your turn, draw a card and climb. The Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man. Strikes an additional time each combat for each character he's protecting. And again, this set only has 3, but if you have the other set, you could have up to 8. So he could attack up to 8 additional times potentially, which is really crazy. We are also going to get this Spider-Man, who is essentially Iron Spider-Man. You have Tony's Tinkering. At the start of your main phase, Spider-Man downloads an update. Then you may install any number of them. While he installs updates, he gets 1 update, flying and ranged, 2 updates, 2 vitality counters, and 3 updates, 12 +1/+1 counters. Training Wheel Protocols. When Iron Man is face up on an enemy's side, Spider-Man loses and can't gain other powers. So it's pretty neat. Different little mechanics, which are always fun. I'm gonna get 4 copies of this plot twist. Spider Friend. A Spider Friend character in your side of combat gets +1/+1 as combat for each character it's protecting. We're going to get some special equipment just for Spider-Man. Specialized Web Cartridge, one-of-a-kind spider gear. So there's 4 copies of weaponized or specialized web cartridge, but each kind is slightly different. So we get magnetic webbing. Equipped character has ranged, and when it attacks an enemy character, that character's attack becomes 0 this combat. If the character is Doc Ock or Mysterio, stun him instead. Sonic Disruptors. Equipped character has range, and when it attacks an enemy character, you may daze that character. If the character has Venom or Carnage, stun them instead. Acid Webbing has range, and when it attacks an enemy character, put 2 -1/-1 counters on that character. If it is Green Goblin or Sandman, stun him instead. And finally, Ice Webbing. If a character has ranged and it attacks an enemy character, you may freeze that character. That character's Electro or Voltro, stun him instead. And if you're fighting Hydro Man, you get to KO him, because that's a weakness that he has. But if you're fighting Tombstone, it won't affect him. So it's also kind of a neat little crossover there. And then we get 4 copies of his special location. 4 Spider Friend characters. His family is a source of strength. So the Spider Foes had one that went against family. This one works with them. During your build phase, your main character may pay a strength. If it does, turn that location face down, then heal a wound from that main character. So that's really cool. Yeah, definitely a fun, interesting set, but like I said at the beginning, it's more of an add-on expansion versus being a straight-up regular deck, because you can play lots of this yourself, but like to play Spider UK, you really require the crossover set to have the other Spider-Verse characters. If you want to get more beneficial of the Friends and Family stuff, you require the original Spider Friends box set. You want to get the Kurt Connors to work, you need the Spider Foes set. You want to have Superior Doc Ock's second ability work. You're going to need the base set, which supposedly you already own. So yeah, this can include, you need up to possibly 4 other different sets to use this one. But it adds, that's kind of nice. I don't even have an issue with that, because that's kind of the whole point of this game, is you buy one set, then you can buy another set with more characters. Oh, I like Spider-Man characters. Here's another Spider-Man set. I can add to that, make them Spider-Man decks better, versus just buying one of these boxes and I only play with that character, or I only play with the Fantastic Four set. You know, it's nice to buy the expansions and get more, and it gives them a reason to release more characters in different sets, or mix and match, maybe not just the team affiliations, but other things, like lots of the Sinister Syndicate and Spider-Friend characters, mix and matching into a deck together can make some incredible things. So that's what I got for this video. See you guys later. Bye.